RNZ News at 9 o'clock. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Mark Leishman. The body of Pope Francis has been carried across the Vatican in Rome to lie in state in St. Peter's Basilica. The church bells tolled as the procession of cardinals and priests accompanied the open coffin the short distance through city-state. Mourners waiting to pay their respects clapped as the procession passed. Thousands have gathered in St. Peter's Square and will be admitted to the church once the religious ceremony has come to an end. Pope Francis's body will lie in state for the next 3 days before the funeral on Saturday. The BBC's Alim Makbul is in Rome and looks at the ceremonies ahead.
Outside, preparations have begun for the funeral on Saturday. It's expected to mean the arrival of at least 100 foreign delegations and many tens of thousands of other people. As such, the security presence across Rome is already noticeably increasing. Around the city too, over coffees and dinners, cardinals have been taking the opportunity to meet and in some cases get to know new colleagues, themselves preparing for the coming days and for the conclave to follow.
Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and New Zealand's only Cardinal John Dew will attend the funeral. Back home, more arrests have been made after a group of protesters tried to shut down a West Coast coal mine. The mining company, Bathurst Resources, is seeking fast-track approval to extend the Stockton mine in Westport. 7 people were charged with trespassing earlier this week. Another 3 people were taken into custody earlier this evening, with details on charges still being finalised. Police say there are no protesters left at the mine. In a statement, Bathurst Chief Executive Richard Taken says it takes the safety of anyone at its mining sites very seriously. He says the coal mine is back to full operation. The New Zealand Airport Association says Air New Zealand is able to charge high airfares because of a lack of competition in the market. Tauranga father Scott Costa has complained to the Commerce Commission, saying the cost of flying his daughter back to university in Wellington is too much. The association's chief executive, Billy Moore, says the National Airline charges high fares because it can.
There are challenges in the sector, but also they can price this high because they are the only operator. There's no consequence for the use of market power on these routes, and it serves as a barrier to competition coming into those routes. Why would a new operator come in to compete with the government-owned airline?
Billy Moore says the government needs to do more to help generate regional competition in the sector. Auckland Council's made a confidential agreement with cafe owner Dilip Rupa over hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid rents. Last year, the council said it would pursue a forced sale of Mr. Rupa's cafe in Freeman's Bay and properties in Grey Lynn, partly owned by him, if he did not pay back owed debts within 6 months. The council says it won't provide further details, citing legal reasons. However, information released by the council to the New Zealand Herald showed Mr. Rupa owed almost $900,000 across 3 properties by the end of 2024. The spokesperson for Rupa's Cafe declined to comment. 2 hunters are facing firearms charges after shots were fired near a home at Cheviot in North Canterbury. Police say they found 6 rifles and more than 160 rounds of ammunition in a search of a nearby property last month. The men are due to appear at the Christchurch District Court charged with illegal gun possession. And shares in electric car maker Tesla have risen by nearly 5% in after-hours trading in the United States. It follows remarks by Tesla's billionaire boss Elon Musk, who says he is likely to scale back his work for the Trump administration. Analysts have warned of brand damage because of Mr. Musk's role at the Department of Government Efficiency, overseeing controversial cuts to federal programs. Mr. Musk gave his own reasons for working less with the administration.
A large slug of work necessary in Qatar and working to get the financial house in order is mostly done. And I think starting next month, May, my time allocation to Doge will drop significantly.
Tesla stock has nearly halved from a peak in December. And that's the news.
Your complete wrap of the day starts at 4 p.m. with me, Melissa Tangreen, in for Lisa Owen. Patrick Dunn met with Pope Francis about 5 years ago in Rome. Tell us about that meeting, Patrick.
One of the things that struck me was the human warmth of the man himself.
There are obviously some ways in which you can actually turn notifications off.
I've trained myself to not be a monkey to the ping.
Checkpoints with me, Melissa Tangreen, in for Lisa Owen from 4 till 6 p.m. weekdays here on RNZ National.
This is RNZ National, back with Emile and Nights and the quiz very shortly. The short forecast now till midnight Thursday. From Northland and Coromandel, partly cloudy with isolated showers. From Auckland to Kapiti, also the Bay of Plenty and Central High Country, mainly fine. From Gisborne to Wairarapa, also Wellington, mostly cloudy with isolated showers, becoming fine in the Tararua district in Wairarapa and Wellington tomorrow. For Bulla to Fiordland, also for Nelson and Marlborough, mainly fine this evening, partly cloudy tomorrow with isolated showers about Grey and Westland. Canterbury will get cloud with isolated showers clearing to fine through this evening. Otago mainly fine with overnight frosts. Southland fine with showers developing about Stewart Island tomorrow evening. And for the Chatham Islands, showers with southwesterly gales both evening tomorrow. It is 6.5 minutes past 9. I'll be back with a full roundup of the day's news at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Mark. You're back on Nights. Emile Donovan with you till midnight this Wednesday here on RNZ National. Lisa sent me I'll explain the context. I've been asking you about the movies that you've walked out of and why you walked out of them. Lisa says, I walked out of Jaws 3D. Sometime back in the early 80s, we were on our way back to Paumaranui after the massive David Bowie gig at Western Springs. What a weekend that must have been. And my friends decided to ruin it. It would be an excellent weekend by going to see Jaws 3D. They looked really stupid in their 3D glasses. I walked out early from the English film The Lady and the Band because of the sadness that such an accurate portrayal such an accurate portrayal of the shocking way Western nations often treat their elderly. Yeah, I feel that way. I think The Lady in the Band is meant to be sort of a comedy drama, isn't it? But I kind of feel that way when I watch Ken Loach movies. I know they are really good and they're quite riveting to sort of watch, but they make you feel very sad a lot of the time. The Wind That Shakes the Barley, that one really got me. I walked out of Black Dog at the International Film Festival, writes Claire. Can't believe people could sit through simulated cruelty to street dogs on China and there were no warnings of animal cruelty. Animals! I'm seeing animals as a recurring theme here as well. Violence or the mistreatment, maltreatment of animals. Which often hits even harder. You know, the death of animals in films often hits you harder than the deaths of humans in films, doesn't it? I remember watching the HBO miniseries Chernobyl, which came out about 6 years ago. So spoiler alert. But one of the things that they have to do when they're cleaning up in the aftermath of Chernobyl is kill the cats and dogs because they might be radioactive. Oh, and there's a scene where, with the dogs, and I just had to skip that one. Pretend it didn't happen. Coming up this hour on the program, Claire Kincannon from Our Changing World will be here shortly to talk science, and then around about 25 to Hayden Denellis here with Midweek Media Watch. We're going to be talking about the coverage of the death of Pope Francis. We're going to be talking a bit about, a very bombastic interview this morning on Morning Report, Winston Peters and Corin Dan. We'll chat a bit about the Wellington Mineral TS Farm, a bunch more besides. But, in addition to all of that, we have a quiz to attend to. 5 questions, 3 quizzies, 1 champion. Let's meet our quizzies. Number 1, joining us from, Lake Brunner, it's Mike. Kia ora, Mike.
G'day, Emil. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you, Mike. How are you doing?
Good.
How are the birds sounding?
Very good.
Yeah.
Since we've got this trapping program here, the fantails are back. So, yeah, it's great.
It's fantastic, because that is one of the things about September, isn't it? It's the beautiful, rich bird life around there. It's like being serenaded by a choir every morning, I would think.
Yeah, no, it's superb. It's good swap.
Great stuff. What have you been up to today, Mike? Anything exciting?
Yes, I've been on the Black Runner cycle trail today.
Hey.
And I've just finished a new bridge, so it's about 3K from Canal